Bindertime Stories is brought to you by Mila Eve Essentials. Visit MilaEveEssentials.com for 100% pure, therapeutic essential oils and other products. Nature knows best, and so does Mila Eve.
Gather around the Fireball Squad. I'll share a story about a woman who wanted ransom, and when she didn't get it, she threw a huge temper tantrum. Once upon a time in a faraway land, a crybaby appeared as a grown woman. She didn't realize her age and she threw fits like she was 2. She never took accountability for anything she would do. She loves to yell, she kicks and screams, she even tossed a knife. You would think she would have matured after becoming somebody's wife. Weep, weep is mommy's baby. A very cute little brat. She makes requests, then when they're fulfilled, she claims she's been attacked. Her ambulance-chasing attorney didn't give her good advice. She played the role to build her case, and sadly, she lost twice. She went on a mission, a campaign of sorts, to gather those who would care. If you didn't take Weep Weep's side, she'd cry and fold her tissue square. She loves to dab, not like the dance, a dab for each little tear. A little dab here, a little dab there, a bucket of tears for a year. A request for mediation was sent, but immediately was denied. We would all be rich if I had $1 for every tear she cried. Sometimes it's a gift and a curse when you show so much confidence. It's hard to train a stringless puppet who has street smart and common sense. Who knew not playing by the rules would put a target on my back? Cutting and dicing and splicing seams, for that y'all are hella whack. Just let the villains be villains. That would make for great TV. Expose the fakes, the frauds who plot, whose eyes are green with envy. But it all makes sense. You can only use the ones who act totally desperate, the ones who need, the ones with greed, because the ones who have you can't mess with. Some sell out for fame, some sell out for gain. Your choice reveals what you value. To each his own. I'm not knocking your hustle. Just stay true to yourself if you know how to. After all that has transpired, one thing is definitely for certain. My departure revealed the truth of what's hiding behind your little curtain. Out of the mouth come words, but I'm looking at your actions. Saying we're treated as equal, as if I'll fall for that distraction. You say Black Lives Matter, but they don't matter in the workplace. You profit from violence and make fake disclaimers, which is evidence you're saving face. I wrote a nice little bop to bring closure for me after all the gaslighting I endured. Never once was offered therapy, but that was an expense I had to afford.
Straight to the top while the haters look up, wondering why their attempts weren't enough. Always on E, I'm on F in my cup.
My song was therapeutic. Drag queens, a pun that I intended. You called it a diss without listening to lyrics and claimed you were so offended. It was okay for 19 weeks to use a fight to earn some profits. But I make a song detailing my life, my views, and you try to stop it? Banned from press and crossovers, you said these are extra benefits. Complete and utter disrespect, then act surprised when she finally quits. So while I'm grateful for the platform that you barely let me use, I thought I signed up for reality. Now I realize you prefer a ruse. Well, here's a thought. What if there was a show that showcased 6 different women? What if one of the women demanded oral sex be performed simply for admission? Or if 2 of the women were trapped in a closet, which reveals why they can't keep a man? Or if another one had an affair and gave her boo all the assets and money she had? While the other friend revealed to the group that she was damaged beyond repair, what if we found out that a husband and one of these ladies pursued an affair? From the man's perspective, who's sticking around waiting patiently for a refund? What's real? What's fake? We'll see what relationship lasts when the show is done. As stated before, true life is more salacious than what is revealed. What's true? What's false? You'll have to decide. But the binder is permanently sealed.
Bam.
No, that was perfect.
Oh, good.
I couldn't have asked a more perfect person to do this. I was sitting back like, I need to do this.
Too.
Yeah, no, Richie's the best. I was like, I need to do this behind the scenes, and I want it to be different. I don't want to just be talking into the camera.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, I'm probably not going to even answer all the questions that I know people are going to want to know. So I was like, Richie, what you doing?
You know I'm
Can
always
you come over here next week?
First of all, I'm always down. If we doing a run and gun it, let's do it. Okay, I'm with you.
No, I appreciate it. No, this has been good.
Thank
and
you
then,
for thinking. I'm glad you thought of me for this because
Yes.
you could have thought of anybody.
Yes, and no, but it's so funny because I swear you're like my first of all, you're my YouTube guru. You're darn near my psychologist. And like it's always like, Richie, what would you do? They need to have a bracelet instead of WWJD, what would Jesus do? They need WW, what would Richie do? WWRD. What would Richie do?
I used to work in PR.
Oh.
Oh, so that's why you're so good
I
at that.
feel like, I mean, I've just kind of learned to be diplomatic or as diplomatic as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes I let my guard down, but, you know, for the most part, I feel like.
You are very diplomatic. And you know what I like about your channel too? I never feel like, even when you have, even if you have an opinion of someone that may not be popular, I like your approach. Like, you never like trash anybody or dog anybody out. You're always very positive, even when you're delivering bad news. Like, that takes raw talent. Seriously.
I just got to be able to sleep at night.
True.
You know, this should all feel fun. And I feel like when you finish watching my channel, you should feel like you had a good time, hopefully.
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
Like, even if it's something not so positive, I feel like we can still have fun with it.
Okay. No, that makes so much sense. But yeah, no, because you were the first person outside of, let me see, Nisha, my husband, Leaf, they all heard part 1 and 2. Because when I called you, I read both part 1 and 2 to you, right? Or did I just read part 1?
I felt like you read part 1.
So I called you even sooner. So I must have called you. Yeah, because you were in the airport or something. You were in the car. You were traveling.
I was in Miami. I was in Miami.
Yes, you were in Miami. You were you on your way back? I know you do.
I was on my way back.
You moved, and then you spend more time. That's how it is sometimes.
I got to get away from this winter weather.
Yes. No, I feel you. Yes, that's why. All right. So when I wrote it and I finished it, I was so anxious to tell you, and I knew you were traveling back, and you were like, "No, I'm in the Uber. I'm about to." I think you were headed to the airport, or
we were headed to the airport.
Yes. Yep. And you were cracking up so hard, I had to keep repeating. Oh my God, it was so. And that when you said, you was like, "Yo, this could be so big. This could be even bigger than just like binder time." That I was like, okay, I'm gonna
It was
keep
good.
going.
And then y'all, I mean, just I guess the way y'all added the visuals to it, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either, honestly.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be low quality. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I wasn't expecting it to be.
I wasn't expecting, like, you were right. It all like happened.
It was
right
just
on, it was like all things worked together.
Yeah.
yes. It literally happened that way because even while we were shooting, when we did the B-roll, when I threw the book into the fire, that was something we came up with like right at the end. It was just like,
I wasn't
think I'm
prepared
gonna
for her
toss
to
it.
tell me that she burned the book.
I actually have video footage of me practicing the toss.
Yeah.
Like several times. We had to make sure because we only had one chance.
I
You
think
need to burn the book once.
One time.
I only had one camera, so she had to do like
Yeah.
do like this, and then from different angles.
And then you gotta make sure you look good while you're throwing it. So I'm like strutting and walking, and then he's like, all right, when you get to that point, just toss it, but you have to toss it over the fire pit so it can land on the ground on the other side. So I'm like, okay. So I walk, toss. I tossed that book probably like 20 times. And then Dexter was like, all right, you ready? I said, let's do one more. We gotta make sure this is perfect. But when we finally shot that last toss, it was like, I wanted it to look as nonchalant as it felt. Get up. I'll close the book.
Okay. Go ahead, action.
I'll make sure I walk closer next time. Then I'm gonna stop.
That's perfect right there if the way it lands.
I think you will.
You get
That's like the perfect flat spot. And then when you capture it, if you can somehow get it from that angle, but then also over top, so you can actually see the,
Right.
you'll
The,
see it kind of like getting engulfed from above.
I guess. One more walkthrough, but do that same motion where you're throwing it low.
Okay, don't throw it
Yeah.
far. Okay.
Action. And cut.
Really toss it this time.
Yep.
just walking, minding my business. I'm like, you know what? Just chuck it. Yeah.
It's gonna feel like the end of Game of Thrones. Everybody's gonna. No, wait. It's gone. That's it. But I also think it's perfect too, because I feel like you gave it an ending for yourself.
Yes.
And I think that you put the period on it, and it's kind of like you walking away from the show. You put the period on it versus somebody else doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I thought about it too. I'm like, all right, I done walked away. Nobody has reached out to me for real. And I'm supposed to just turn my book over to the Housewives Museum for who and for what? For why? No, I'm going to give the people Bindertime Stories.
Well,
and then
especially if they're still mentioning you on NBC, especially on This Is Us. I was going to ask you about that, but the conversation was going, and I was like, I always feel like when I'm interviewing, I'd never like to write my questions down because I always feel like you can go with the flow of what if they're a good interviewee.
Yeah.
You're a good interviewee, like, because you'll talk and offer things that I may not have even thought to ask. Okay. And so then I feel like, okay, you just follow that path and see where it goes.
Okay. No, that was great. But yeah, that whole, I felt like they were trolling me. I felt like that was a whole troll moment. And I said, okay, I'm going to troll you right back. Bindertime Stories coming soon. That night I made sure, and this is how good God is. When I tell you God lines things up, and this is how it's been. And it's like, I do a lot of praying. I do a lot of meditating. And my goal is so that I can be more in tune with what God says. And when I hear his voice, I know it's him. And I know that he's giving me clear direction. So just like you have your spouse or a best friend, the more you spend time with that person, the more you know them. The more you spend time with God, the more you know him. The more that you can feel that he's working through you. And the more that you are in tune with what he's telling you to do.
But yeah, I feel like I'm not outwardly emotional, but I'm inwardly emotional, right? So when people would say, oh, This Is Us is such a good show, you need to watch it, they would also follow it up by saying, but I cry after every episode. I'm not trying to watch that. Nope.
I had to stop. I was tired of crying. I'm a positive person. I'm like crying and stuff, So they're like hitting me up and they're like, you were on This Is Us. And I start getting all these mentions and people are tagging me and posting in my comments. So I'm like, okay, when people start posting stuff about one thing on another picture that has nothing to do with that, you got to give them something to post to, Same thing I did with the picture after the fight. So I'm like, give them something to post on. So I said, okay, saw it. Don't Be a Monique was like, called you that night. Richie, I don't know what to feel about this. Tell me how to feel. I'm like, this is really weird.
Use it.
Yes. I was like, okay. I posted the darn trailer that I had worked on. And I was like, oh, thanks for the cute little mention. And take it as that. And just let it go.
It was perfect timing, honestly.
It was. God's timing. Like, literally.
It's one of those things where you could either be upset about it, or you could say, I'm going to turn these lemons into lemonade. And I feel like that's what you did.
Literally.
And that's... Candy laid the blueprint for that. Just continue. Oh, y'all want to do this to me?
Yep.
That's cool. I'm going to turn it into this and make money.
And that was the advice Candy gave me when I met her. The first time I met her, I said, how have you been doing this for so long? And she said, look, anything that comes my way, I'm going to turn it into $1.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And, I listened to that advice she gave me that day over and over. And I said, okay, I'm a grind. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm able to benefit off of whatever they throw my way. So when the fight happened, call me whatever you want to call me. I looked at this as a great marketing opportunity for whatever I had going on. So I'm like, okay, my book's coming out. I got my song, Drag Queens. I'm going to change the narrative and use the momentum. Because who wants to do press and I got to talk about the fight? Think about the first time we interviewed after the season came out. Not only did we have the show to talk about, we had the fight to talk about. But you also asked me about Not For Lazy Moms, new podcast. You asked me about my book. You asked me about Drag Queens, my new single. When are you shooting the video? There's other conversation that we had. It wasn't just me talking about the fight and crying and boo-hooing and having a whole ocean of tears all over the place.
That was smart.
I had to do what I knew marketing-wise made sense. Bravo's doing it. The networks are doing it. They're taking that fight and they're making coins off of it. So now I'm supposed to just like sit back and just do nothing. So that's why I laugh at people when they're like, oh, you're not over this fight. You're not over this, that, and the other. You're not over the show. You left. Why are you still talking about it? Because as long as I'm able to use this platform to boost whatever it is I'm still doing, and I don't have to give them Nan coin, why wouldn't I?
Well, and that's the flip side of this is that, you know, they're technically still talking about you. Okay.
Which
so,
is great.
You know, on This Is Us. So obviously it works both ways. So I feel like everybody should be happy.
Right. I'm like, they didn't just show my face. That was one thing. So I was like, oh, okay. When I saw the episode little snippet that somebody posted, I retweeted it right away because I didn't listen to it. I saw me and I was like, oh, that's cool. Retweet. Then I hit the unmute button and listen. Don't be a Monique. Wait, what? Did this man just tell his newborn baby don't be a Monique? Do he not know what I do? Like, what? So I was like, hashtag be a Monique. You know, and then people started actually using that hashtag too.
It's so weird. It's
yeah.
like, in what context are you talking about? Monique. It didn't really make sense to me, but
yeah. And then
whatever.
People made it about race. It was like, how he gonna tell his white baby don't be this black woman? I was like, oh Lord, here we go. However you want to take it. The whole point is, how are you telling somebody not to be somebody who you don't even know?
Yeah, that was kind of weird to me, but
right.
I think at the end of the day, it's like versus being offended, make some money.
Yeah, I just threw all the emotion and just like, doop. Let me go ahead and promote Bindertime Stories. Thanks for watching. It was perfect timing. It was like literally the perfect segue right into what I'm doing. And it worked out nice to be able to have the early viewing with my Patreon account and all the people who become patrons. And we have those conversations and then release it on my YouTube channel. And, you know, maybe I'll make it a book. We'll see.
Oh, yes. I was going to say books and more music.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of more music, right?
Yeah.
Too, because I just feel like, let me tell you why. I'm so mad at Rihanna, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let me say this. Simply because Rihanna has all these products, right?
Right.
She has the Fenty, she had the makeup, she had all these things. Do you realize every time she had a fashion show, what should have been playing in the background? Her music.
New album.
Her new album.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be just associated. Like now, music is such an interesting space, right? So a lot of times people like kind of put out music, and you feel like it's going the next day.
Right.
But you have an opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
To also put out all types of content with all the different things that you do.
Look, I
and
feel
I know
like,
you're only one person.
No, look, you know, I'm like determined to take over the world. So I'm like one step at a time, one binder at a time. But no, I'm always thinking about the bigger picture. That's where me and you are very similar. It's always like, okay, I accomplished this, what's next? You know? So that's where I am all the time. And for me, it's nice to do something that's more business wise. Fulfilling orders and talking to customers about Mila Eve is great. But I also have to, you got your left side of your brain and you got your right side. Right. My left side is being fulfilled with Mila Eve. My right side is all the creative stuff, Bindertime Stories and music. So, you know, it's funny. I really want to reach out to some like top DJ. And I want them to take Bindertime and make it a song. Because it literally rhymes.
That could
literally
be
rhymes.
Yeah. My phone at?
I want somebody to take it and once upon a time in a faraway land, like, and just like, you know how they do it, Monique Popoff appeared with a book in her hand. Monique Popoff appeared, Monique Popoff appeared, Monique Popoff appeared.
Oh, you want to give it some bounce. Okay.
Yes.
That's...
And then everybody just started juking and raving.
I feel like now I'm going to make it my private mission. I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm going to do it behind the scenes and reach out to some bounce DJs because that would be hot.
It would be dope. It literally rhymes. Like, it's literally like a song.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I thought I hit my sister up and I said, send me some beats so somebody can mix it for me. And she still ain't respond. So I'm on my own mission now. But that can literally be in a club. Like, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make that happen.
Let's do it.
I just feel like it needs to like
keep going.
Let's keep the train going.
Yes.
It ain't gonna stop.
I can't wait for you to see part 3 because I did incorporate my song, Drag Queens. Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, I'm trying to remember the words right now. But basically I went in on Bravo about them basically promoting this fight for 19 weeks. And then when it came to my song, they said it promoted violence. And I was like, you didn't even listen to the lyrics. I said drag queens, a nice little bop. You know, one that I wrote for my own closure.
Well,
So
you had somebody singing the lyrics, so that's fine.
and then I have right, hilarious. Then I have when the page is open, it's the video playing. So we actually have the music change into the beat from drag queens. So it's another opportunity for me to promote drag queens. Dope. So yeah, and then look, my whole intro is Bindertime Stories is brought to you by Mila Eve Essentials. Mila Eve Essentials products are designed with your mind, body, and soul in mind. Then it goes into the Bindertime part 1.
And I'm gonna need one of those bracelets too.
Yeah, I got you.
Just FYI, I thought about it since you brought that up.
It's funny, no, but you told me you were like. You were like, you can attach a promo video for Mila E to your whatever you're doing. Just make sure it's like 15 seconds. Yeah. So I chopped out one of the videos Dexter shot, did a little voiceover, and I literally did it in iMovie.
Everything you do,
yeah,
remind people of all these different things, because I feel like I was like, it's like YouTube. If you're not putting content out, nobody's gonna know. Yeah. So you always got to remind them.
Yes. No, it's been good.
But yeah, you need to jump on that Facebook too.
Yes. Oh, all right. We're going to talk about that.
I feel like I'm still working out the kinks with that. But
once you work out the kinks, just give me the roadmap.
All you need is your 10,000. If you got 10,000.
I have 17.
So you good there. And then you just need to start putting videos up there.
Oh.